Hare So those who are sitting behind, everybody can chant when he says Swaha. You can also chant Swaha. Okay? So you are also participating in this program. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Isthapitam Jana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padaramayam Dadati Sapadantikam Idam Rupai Swaha Idam Swaha Bande Havan Shri Gura Shri Jitapad Kamalam Shri Gurunavashtamam Cha Shri Rupam Chakrajatam Havan Rathayatra Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadhutam Bhojana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Savan Lalita Shri Shanaitam Cha Idam Gurave Swaha Idam Swaha. So those who are initiated, you can chant their spiritual master names. Namo Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Krishna Vishnu Idam Vishnu Gurave Swaha Idam Swaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacharine Niti Shesha Shunyavadi Pacha Sudesha Karine Idam Prabhupada Swaha Idam वासवानि विदेवितो हृदयकपालभये कृष्णसम्बन्धविघ्नहरे प्रभवे नमः मधुजौज्जलप्रमाद श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिरः श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्तिविग्रहाय नमस्ते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दिनतारिणे रूपानुगविदुःखसिद्धान्तहारिणे इदं भक्तिसिद्धान्ते स्वाहाय नमः स्वाहा नमो गुरुकिशोराय साक्षात् वैरगुणमूर्तये विप्रदं नारशम्भूते पदं भुजयते नमः इदं गुरुकिशोराय स्वाहाय नमः स्वाहा नमो भक्तिविनादाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गुरुशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवाय तेजं भक्तिविनादाय स्वाहाय नमः स्वाहा गुरु आविर्भावं भूमिस्थं निर्दिष्टसज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः इदं जगन्नाथाय स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो नमो इदं वैष्णवाय स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा नमो महावदनाय कृष्णप्रेमपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गुरुगोतिष्ठे नमः इदं गुरुपदेवाय स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा पंचतत्वात्माकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताक्षं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं इदं पंचतत्त्वै स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते इदं कृष्णाय स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा जगतां जगतो गङ्गर्ममन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वशपदं भूतो राधामदनमोहनो इदं सम्भन्दिदेवै स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा दिव्यद्रिन्दर्णकल्पद्रुमादश्रीमदन्तं श्रीमद्राजनगोविन्ददेवपृष्ठलिपिशिवमन स्मरामि इदम् अभिधीदेवै स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा श्रीमान् रसरसारम्भी वंशीवटतरस्थितः कृष्णवेणुशनिर्गोपीगोपीनाथशिरस्पुनः इदं प्रजनदिदेवै स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतिदेवी प्रणमामि प्रीत्ये इदं राधिकायै स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा विलासललितसाहित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रं सुभद्रभं श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः इदं जगन्नाथबलसुभद्रभं स्वाहा इदं नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री चतुर्भुजाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री जगन्नाथाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री कंठो शोभित पुष्पभये नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री पद्मनाभाय स्वाहा ओम देवाभय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री चंद्र सूर्य विरोचनाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री शनग्रामाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री यज्ञपतये नमः स्वाहा ओम कैवल्ये नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री पतितपावनाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री नीलाद्रिनाथाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री रसनिवासाय नमः स्वाहा ओम श्री राघवाय नमः स्वाहा गंगाफलवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री वापिने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सर्ववापिने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री ईश्वरेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री लोकराजाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री देवराजाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री चक्राय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री भूपाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री भूपताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री नीलाद्रिपतये नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री नीलाद्रिनाथाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री अनंताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सर्वेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री कल्पतरुवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री विमलप्रीतिधरणाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री बलभद्राय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री वासुदेवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री माधवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री मधुसूदनाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री दैत्राय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री पुंडरीकाक्षाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री बलप्रिया नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री परमन् नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री वैष्णवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री बृहस्पतिवनाशाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सूर्याय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री कृष्णाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री केशवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री रामाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंदनाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री गोविंदाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री परमेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महेशे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महाशिवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री कपिलासाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री लोकचक्रिणे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सूर्याय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री आत्मने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री दिवपालाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री आदिउच्चताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री संसारपालकाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री एकांशाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री मनयस्मै नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री मंप्रियाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री ब्रह्मवादिने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महेश्वराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री दिव्यभुजाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री शतभागवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सहस्राक्षराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री पद्मपत्रभिषाक्षाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री पद्मगर्भाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री नीलसुंदराय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री गणाधिपतये नमः स्वाहा। ओम सहस्र बाहुर्भवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री ओम श्री सहस्राक्षाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सर्ववासिने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री क्षीरवासिने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री चित्तदेवाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री सर्वपावनाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री पद्मनाभाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री नीलकंठाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री नीलपतये नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री कृपावने नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री शंख शोभिताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री देवता विद्याय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री महागर्भाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री वेदांताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री वेदांताय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री करुणासिंधवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री दयासिंधवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री शूरबंधवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री परात्परवे नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री गणनाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री कुलधाय नमः स्वाहा। ओम श्री शंखचक्रगदाधराय नमः स्वाहा। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद इदं संततस्मै स्वाहा नमः स्वाहा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे स्वाहा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे स्वाहा। Hare Krishna, thank you. We will do Nahati now. So whatever we have now, remaining in the plate. So after the mantras, we can put everything in the so those who are also in hand and have extra on the plate, you can come forward. You can stand up. You can stand up. Okay, great.
Hare Krishna, please be advised. Everybody wears mask. It's a mandatory in the temple premises. Please wear your mask.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Please don't come to the fire, don't offer anything. Yeah? We're done now. Please don't really come and close now with the fire.
Okay.
Your point.
Hare Krishna, if you don't have mask, please go to the front desk and get one. And this is protecting you and you have to protect others. That's all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
अबे प्रभु कीर्तन 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 कीर्तन
Krishna.
We are going West Virginia.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishwaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Gauravani
Yes, so this is something which we've been announcing for a few weeks now, and we're super excited that it's finally we finally were able to do the Havan. The festival will kickstart with a celebration on Friday, which is on the 15th of July, where there's going to be a 12-hour kirtan happening at the temple. Parade on the 16th and celebration at Central Island, and on the 17th as well. So a big weekend, about a month away from where we are right now. So we need lots and lots of help in terms of donating or sponsoring for the festival, or if you'd like to volunteer and help out in certain services, you are most welcome to do so. We have a board on the front which shows about the various sponsorship opportunities for the festival. So if you'd like to support this festival financially based on your means, you are most welcome to do so. We will be able to issue a receipt as well. And of course, in the coming weeks, you'll be hearing more updates about how we are planning to celebrate the festival, who are the confirmed guests, and a lot of more fun information which is going to be happening over the next few weeks. So without further ado, what we're going to do is we'll get started with our regular spiritual discourse. We usually start at 6:30. We're just running a little bit late, but this will be a discourse for about 40 minutes. And the topic for today is on the mood of service. So as you all know, the next month or so is going to be involving a lot of devotees, a lot of volunteers doing their bit, doing their service for Lord Jagannath. And today we're going to hear on this mood of service. And it's going to be facilitated by none other than our visiting monk, visiting guest, Rathayatra Prabhu. So, brief bio background about Rathayatra Prabhu. He's been originally from Santa Cruz, California, and he joined the Krishna House. He's the brand ambassador of this Krishna House project. Krishna House is an initiative done to bring newcomers, new people to the path of Krishna consciousness, where they get to stay in the ashram, stay at the temple, attend morning programs, attend the Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, all of this in a way that's very helpful for them to understand what the process of bhakti is like. So he's doing a similar initiative here in Toronto called the Bhakti Academy. So we currently have about 10 to 15 students, correct Prabhu? 10 to 15? Yeah, 10. 10 students staying at the temple, attending morning program every day, attending morning Bhagavatam classes, serving at the temple. And this is all being led by our very special guest, Rathayatra Prabhu. So he's been leading this initiative for many years now, and it's something we're trying in Toronto for the first time. And he's been connected with a lot of the devotees staying at the temple. So he'll be here for a few more months, and we thought today he will speak on this topic, on the mood of service. So please join me in welcoming Rathayatra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Happy to be here with all of you. Big, amazing crowd of spiritual seekers here. Is anybody here for the first time? That's great. It's been like that every week since we've started the Sunday feast. There's 10 or 15 newcomers. So thank you all for coming, visiting this wonderful community, and hopefully you can be a part of our family, and we can chant and dance and feast together. That's the process. We'll talk a little more about that. But first, we'll sing this ancient prayer. It's called Jaya Radha Madhava. So if you haven't sung it before, we have
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
So tonight we'll be reading from the Bhagavad Gita. This is an ancient text, over 5,000 years old. I'm sure most of you in the room know about it. Maybe there's a few who don't. And this is a very famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita. And so we will reverse a little bit of the purport from our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. And then we'll have a little discussion on what is the mood of service. And then we'll have some time for discussion and questions at the end. So we'll do this call and response. This is the Sanskrit. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Avitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmam Susukham Kartumavyayam Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Avitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmam Susukham Kartumavyayam. Some of you can chant. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Dharmam Susukham Kartumavyayam. So it didn't exactly go as planned. Here we go, yes. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Susukham Kartumavyayam. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Dharmam Susukham Kartumavyayam. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyaksha Dharmam Susukham Kartumavyayam. Thank you very much. We can do the synonyms. Raja Vidya, the king of education. Raja Guhyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this. Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksha, by direct experience. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Susukham, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. And the translation. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So we'll read just some of the purports, quite long, so we'll skip down towards the end. The second, third to last.
What is that right?
So can we have a reader? Somebody help me read? I think a little far. Maybe someone closer? Somebody like to read? Yes.
The process of devotional service is a very happy one. Susukham. Why? Devotional service consists of Shranam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So one can very simply hear the chanting of the glories of the Lord, or can attend philosophical lectures on the transcendental knowledge given by authoritative acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remittance of the food offered to Lord. Nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. The Lord says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Dvayam. He is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what, even a leaf, a flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are all available in every part of the world, can be offered by any person regardless of social position, and will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history. Simply by tasting the tulsi leaf offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, a great sage like Sanat Kumar became great devotees. Therefore, the devotional process is very nice and it can be executed in a happy mood. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. Do you want me to continue? It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosophers claim. Although they sometimes take to so-called devotional service, their idea is that as long as they are not liberated, they will continue the devotional service, but at the end, when they become liberated, they will become one with God. Such temporary time-seeking devotional service is not acceptable as pure devotional service. Actual devotional service continues even after liberation. When the devotee goes to the spiritual planet in the kingdom of God, he is also engaged there in serving the Supreme Lord. He does not try to become one with the Supreme Lord.
Thank you. So, offer our respects. Before speaking, we offer our respects to our spiritual master. You can sing along with me if you know this verse. Om Jnanatindarandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Vidam Jnana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This verse says that I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto him. So, wanted to share 3 points on the mood of service based on this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. And that is, service is eternal, it is joyful, and it is easily performed. So, Srila Prabhupada, who translated and wrote the purports for this Bhagavad Gita as it is, he explains here that devotional service is eternally existing. It is not something temporary. So there's a difference in selfless service and selfish service, where we want to get something from our service. And so I wanted to explain that idea. If we're coming to church, coming to the temple, so that we can get something, get some money in return, we give some money and we want to get more money back, or we offer prayers and are desirous of material things. Like there's the common Christian prayer, give us this day our daily bread. Srila Prabhupada said, this is not love of God, but it's love of bread. So, of course it's better than just trying to make ends meet on our own in an atheistic lifestyle. It's better if we need something, then yes, we should go to God for that. But we're really missing the point that ultimately what's going to satisfy us is having a loving relationship with God of give and take. And this is like when a child grows up, they, rather than just taking from the parent, they realize, maybe I should give back. Maybe I should do something for this person who has selflessly given to me for my whole life. And so in the same way, a mature spiritualist thinks that God is providing everything at every moment, so shouldn't I give something back? And if we have this self-serving mentality that I just want to get something from my spiritual practice, then our spiritual practice will be short-lived. It will not be eternal, like this verse explains. So we'll get something, maybe we'll get some money, or some good health, or a nice house, or something, and we'll be happy for a moment, but then eventually we'll be dissatisfied. There's a nice story from the Srimad Bhagavatam I wanted to share on this point. Lord Shiva, he's said to be very easily pleased. His name is Ashutosh. And so if you ask Lord Shiva for something, he'll give it to you quite easily. And so there was this demon named Vrikasura, and he was doing very intense sacrifices to try to get a power from Lord Shiva. He wanted to get a mystical ability so that he can blow someone's head up by just touching it. And so he was doing the sacrifices quite intense, even taking off his own flesh and offering it to the fire. And he eventually was going to offer his own head into the fire. And Lord Shiva came. He said, okay, I'll give you what you want. And so Vrikasura said, I want the ability to blow someone's head up just by touching it. And Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. He's very easily pleased. So he gave this benediction to Vrikasura. And then what did Vrikasura do? He wanted to test out his new power. When you get a new toy or a new car, what do you want to do? You want to play with it. So Vrikasura wanted to use his new ability on the only person there. He tried to kill Lord Shiva with this new power. And so Lord Shiva ran. He ran all through the universe looking for different powers that be, and approaching them and asking for help. Nobody was able to help him. Brahma, the creator of the universe, couldn't help him. Indra, the king of the heavenly worlds, couldn't help him. And so finally, Lord Shiva went to the spiritual world, and he was looking for Vishnu. And so he found Vishnu in the form of this young brahmachari, this young monk, dressed in a deerskin cloth with his walking stick. And so Lord Shiva found him, and Vrikasura saw this boy, who was actually Vishnu, but he looked like just a little monk. And so this monk was Vishnu. As this little boy, he was saying, you know, I've heard that Lord Shiva is kind of deceitful. You should just test out this power. Why don't you see? And then, when you see that the power doesn't work, then you can prove that Lord Shiva is a liar. And so Vrikasura touched his own head and lost it. So this is a story of temporary material gains from our spiritual practice. If we are worshipping just to get some quick benediction, some quick result, then we won't meet a very nice end. Our service actually is meant to be eternal, not that we just get something and then we just want to enjoy that thing and lose the relationship with the person we were seeking the reward from. So that's the aspect of eternal service. Devotional service is also very joyfully performed. So Krishna by nature is called Satchit Ananda. He is full of bliss. He is eternal. He's full of all knowledge. By nature, this is who Krishna is. And we also, as small parts of Krishna, we have the same quality. We're filled with bliss by nature. But the problem is that we get covered by material energy. We have desires for material things, and then we can't access that blissful nature within ourselves. And so if we reconnect with Krishna, our lost relationship with God, then we can resume our natural, joyful position. And you can experience this very easily. It's actually a scientific process. This is not just sentiment that you offer some prayers and then you feel good and there's not much more to it, but it's actually a scientific process that when you connect with the Supreme, then you are connected with your eternal, natural position, and you feel filled with happiness. And we experience that every day if you sincerely practice, especially with kirtan. Chanting the names of God is the process of enlightenment for this age. And so there's this story also from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's another ancient text. It describes the life of the most recent incarnation of God. And they were cleaning a temple. It's called the Gundicha temple. This actually happened before the Rathayatra, which we're going to have next month, where we take these deities, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, we take them out onto the streets, have a big festival. And so before that festival, Lord Chaitanya and his devotees, they were cleaning the Gundicha temple. And they cleaned it so well, they went through and cleaned out first all the big sticks, all of the major things. Then they went through again and cleaned out all the little dust particles. Then they brought hundreds of pots of water and they put so much water in the temple that it was like there were rivers flowing outside in the streets. And they had so many water pots and they were going to get so much water from the river that different devotees were bumping into each other and breaking the pots. And so actually they needed hundreds of people to go get more pots because there were so many colliding and breaking as they were intensely trying to clean the temple. And they were in such a joyful state. When they were talking to each other, they were only using the word Krishna. When they would ask for a pot of water, they'd say, Krishna, Krishna. And if they were giving one, they'd say, Krishna, Krishna. And everything they weren't using any other word but Krishna. And actually Lord Chaitanya, he was so happy during this service that he was actually crying, tears of joy, and he was washing the temple with his own tears. And of course there's much more than lots of chanting that ensued, like we just did before this. So a devotional service is extremely joyful. We get blissful just by contacting Krishna, because Krishna is full of bliss. And so we see that in the activities of Lord Chaitanya. We can experience it in our own life when we do kirtan in the temple here. And then the final aspect that came out, Srila Prabhupada touched on it in the purport, is that devotional service is very easy. It's extremely easy to do. In any position of life, you can offer some service. So even if you can't come to the temple, you can still chant at home. You can offer some food. Because our Creator has given us so many nice things to eat, and so naturally, if we have gratitude, we'll give it back. And so there's an offering process you can do, and that is an easy way to perform devotional service. Krishna says in the Gita that patram pushpam palam toyam, that you can offer me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a water. I will accept it, even if you have very little means. And in fact, even if you have no means at all, there's a story of this Brahmin who was not very well off, but he was peaceful, living in the forest, doing meditation, doing breathing practices, and he would meditate. This is called manasa seva. It's service in the mind. So even if we can't do something physically, we can just offer service in our own mind. That's how easy devotional service is. And so this Brahman, he was meditating in his mind very elaborately, making offerings to Krishna. He was offering all sorts of wonderful things, clothing and helmets and food and water. He would, in his mind, he would have gold and silver water pots, and he would go to all the holy rivers and he would collect water and bring it back for offering, all in his mind. And he was also meditating on making sweet rice preparation, milk and rice and sugar, very simple preparation. So he was making this sweet rice in his mind, and he was waiting for it to cool down because it should be eaten cold, ideally. And so in his mind, he put his finger in the sweet rice to test if it was cooled down yet, and he burned his finger in his meditation. And then he snapped out of it, and he was sitting in the forest there, and he looked, and his finger was actually burned. And so what happened then is, in the spiritual world, Vishnu was sitting with the Lakshmis, the goddesses of fortune in the spiritual world, and Vishnu smiled humorously. And then the Lakshmis, the goddesses of fortune, asked him, what are you laughing about? And he didn't say anything, but he sent an airplane down, a spiritual airplane, to the material world, and to pick up this Brahmana and take him back to the spiritual world. Wow. He was so pleased by this, even just this mental offering. So devotional service is extremely easy, it's extremely joyful, it is meant to be done eternally, and these are some of the simple points I wanted to share with all of you. And hopefully there's some thoughts churning. I want to hear if there are any questions or realizations that you all would like to share at this point. We can take another 5 or 10 minutes and hear some discussion. Thank you all for your kind attention. Is there a microphone? Okay. Any thoughts, realizations, questions? Go ahead.
So my
Oh, you have to hold it closer. I can repeat it. I'll repeat it. Yeah.
I'll just say it aloud. It's fine. Thank you, Prabhu, for the session. My question is, can you elaborate more on the science part?
Elaborate on the science part.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you said it's a science, but what kind of science? And
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on the science?
Yeah. Thank you. So she's asking, what is the science that I'm describing? In a scientific experiment, there is first a hypothesis, and then one does an experiment based on that hypothesis, right? And once you get results, then you can determine whether or not the hypothesis was correct. So, in that way, there are descriptions that when you engage in this process of chanting the names of God, it purifies the heart, and the unwanted things, the anarthas in our heart, they go away, and they disappear. And so great sages in the past have done this, and their experiences are recorded. Their own scientific experiments are recorded. And so we take that as the hypothesis, and so then we go through and we do the experiment ourselves. We engage in chanting, and then we get results. Or maybe we don't, but we won't know if we don't try. And so this is the challenge that our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, when he came here in 1976, I believe, he gave an arrival address. And he stressed that this is a scientific process. And so he would challenge that you just try this. What do you have to lose? And if you try it, then you can decide for yourself. We're not asking for blind following. We're asking for intelligent, sincere attempts at this scientific process. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the question. And then Guru.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I just wanted to add on to this. So
Sure.
is it the same thing as you mentioned about the Manse Seva? So it's the same thing, I believe. It's the scientific process. We can offer service through our mind as well,
Yes.
although not physically.
Yes, yeah, we can offer service in our mind, but if we have the means, then we should offer what we can according to our ability. So if we're very wealthy, then we can give some of that wealth to Krishna.
Yeah.
If we're very impoverished, we can give whatever we can. And if for some reason we're in a situation we can't do any service, maybe if we're in a country where it's not legal, then we can offer in our mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You answered my question.
Sorry?
You just answered my question.
I answered your question. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Do you have anything else? Yes? What do you think? You got something too? Okay. Go take this.
Beautiful discourse, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
You said Pushpam Bhalam Toyam. What is the first one?
Patram.
What is Bhadram?
Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. A leaf, a flower, fruit, water. So the first one is a leaf.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Like we offer tulsi leaves, for example. You want to say something? Do you have a question?
Why Krishna can save everyone from the demons?
Why can Krishna save everybody from the demons? That's a nice question. Yeah, let's give him a little applause. So you know superheroes, right? Spider-Man and Daredevil. Krishna is like the supreme superhero. So he has all the power, he has all the intelligence, he has every ability possible. So he's just better than everybody in every way, so he can beat everybody in every way. He's just the best, that's why. Thank you very much. Okay, anything else? Okay. Here, we can just pass this one. That's not so loud.
You said that Krishna is
the better than everybody and everything? Do the demons try to kill him because they're jealous of him?
Exactly.
Is he ever snobby about it?
Sorry?
Is he ever snobby about it?
Is he snobby, Krishna?
Yeah.
No. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Maybe we'll do one more. We got some intelligent children here. This is great. You want to ask something? Okay. We'll finish off with this.
Is Krishna like Superman?
Krishna is like Superman, yes.
Does he shoot lasers at his eyes?
He could. I don't know if he ever has. Why not? He could. Yes. Okay. Thank you all very, very much for your kind attention. Thank you for coming. If you appreciated anything that I said, all the credit goes to Srila Prabhupada, so please kindly thank him, read his books. We have them available right outside in the hallway as you leave, and you will be transformed beyond belief if you take to reading his books, even one sentence every day. There's nothing like it. So, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Let's give one big round of applause. Thank you once again, Rathayatra for leading us into an interactive and very much engaging session. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So, just a couple of few announcements. As I mentioned earlier, we did the Havan today to invoke auspiciousness and blessings for the upcoming festival of Rathayatra, scheduled to happen on July 16-17, along with the 12-hour Kirtan on Friday of July 15th. So we do have a couple of sponsors for today, so we'd like to acknowledge them and thank them for their sponsorship. So we have Arvind Kumar and Pratyusha Mataji. I believe they are here. So we have a small gift. So request for that to give this gift for them. Thank you so much, Prabhu and Mataji, for this gesture. Yes. And we also have another sponsorship. This is from Mahabhagavad Prabhu for Vittal Bhakta. Vittal Bhakta recently celebrated his birthday last Monday. So we would like Pradananda Prabhu to offer his garland for Vittal Bhakta. We would like to chant the Maha Mantra thrice for Vittal Bhakta and Prabhu and Mataji. So 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much once again for all the participants and for all the sponsors. We really appreciate this gesture and we hope you continue visiting our temple every Sunday. So a couple other announcements as
I'll talk to you. Yeah, sure. You can join. Please come.
I will see, please. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
இது ஒராட தாரம் கொடுத்து கொடுப்பாங்க அவரோட அந்த மாதிரி வேறு வேறு மாதிரி தான் இல்லை இந்த தாரம் கொடுத்து கொடுப்பாங்க நேரில் அந்த மாதிரி தாரம்
Hare Krishna.